Phew. I moved a lot of boxes the past 2 days, and the muscles on the back of my leg hurt like hell. Yeah, I know, I'm out of shape. Tell me what I don't already frigging know. You think the guy that translates ancient Greek is stupid? He's actually pretty smart. Yes, indeedy. This is a video that kind of everybody keeps asking for, and of course this is subjective to a degree, although not, well, everything's subjective, mostly so. That's not to say there's not a kernel of truth in it. One guy once said, "That's your opinion." I met him at a camera store, and I said something. He's like, "That's your opinion." I was like, you know, some opinions are worth a lot more than others. And this is undeniable. Anyway, I own all the FUJIFILM X-Series lenses except for the 18mm, which I personally can't stand. I'm not saying it's evil, or it's going to possess your soul in the middle of the night. I just, in the scheme of what it is, it's just not great. See, this is my list of must-have FUJIFILM lenses, and there's a list of 9 of them. These are the lenses that I just would not even ever think about giving up, and this is not in any real particular order. By the way, my number 1 favorite is the best FUJIFILM X-Mount lens is the 16mm 1.4. You can get incredibly close with it. It's a pseudo macro lens. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's just sharp as hell. It's amazing. It's just a wonder lens. It's just frigging incredible. Next lens is actually my favorite. Well, I have 2 favorites of the little f2 lenses. Is the tiny little 16mm, not the 1.4, but the little tiny 16mm FUJIFILM lens. Absolutely amazing, compact, perfect for the X Pro 3, by the way, because you, like on a rainy day or whatever, you can stick this camera underneath your raincoat or whatever with that little 16mm lens. It doesn't stick out that much. It's also a great little frigging lens. Lens number 3, like I said, this is in no particular order, is the my second favorite. Is the 50mm. The 50mm, the little tiny f2, the 50mm. I'm taking that with me to Florida, by the way. Also, too, perfect for the X Pro 3. So it's a little compact 50mm. Next would be the 35mm 1.4. Well, it is slow and noisy. It's a much older lens design from Fujifilm. The optics on it are incredible. It's an amazing lens. That's the 35mm 1.4. I'm saving up for mine because there have been so many bills lately, but I had use of it for over a month. And I considered it, and I called it exactly what, and I stick by that 100%. A perfect zoom lens, not that there's really such thing as a perfect lens, but the notion of a perfect zoom lens is ridiculous, because that's the reason why prime lenses exist. And that lens is the 16 to 80mm f4. Compact, image stabilization, incredible bokeh, a frigging amazing lens, the 16 to 80mm. Next lens is the 55 to 200, perfect for travel, compact, fast, awesome lens. That's a 55 to 200. Next is the most useful, well, basically the most useful for my premise, and that's the 18 to 135. Is it more useful than the 16 to 80? No, the 16 to 80 really does edge it out, but for travel, the 18 to 135 is more perfect and more ideal. So that's the 18 to 135 Fujifilm lens. Next lens, and I own more macro lenses than anybody and tested more than anybody, literally. Might be 1 or 2 people out there that done more, maybe. That's the 80mm 2.8 Fujifilm macro lens. Great for portraiture. It's incredible for macro. It is the sharpest friggin' lens you ever have your hands on. For macro, sharpness is incredibly important. Even though I laugh about sharpness and people that chirp about sharpness, it is important for macro lenses. The 80mm Fujifilm macro lens is just unfreaking believable. Ugh! That lens shouldn't exist. It's so perfect. It's angelic. It floats on air. It walks on water. It's that kind of perfect lens. The 80mm is unbelievable. And lastly, to round out those, is a relatively recent lens. That's the 8 to 16mm. Kind of expensive. It's pretty big. Relatively speaking, I mean, all lenses in this range are kind of big. That's the 8 to 16mm Fujifilm lens. Amazing. Unbelievable. For a lens with that kind of focal range, 8 to 16mm, it's unbelievable. There's obviously no options for a filter. I think there's like a third-party contraption nonsense that someone built for it. But conventionally, there's no filter mech for it. So that's my list of the must-have Fujifilm lenses to me, as a person that owns every Fujifilm X-Mount lens except for one, which I don't like, and used all of them extensively. That's my list of the top Fujifilm lenses: 16mm 1.4, the compact 16mm, the compact 50mm, the 35mm 1.4. I said 1.4, okay? The 16 to 80, the new zoom lens, the 55 to 200, the 80mm macro, the 18 to 135, and lastly, the super awesome, perfect for architecture, landscape, yada yada yada, 8 to 16mm Fujifilm lens. So that's my list of the must-have Fujifilm lenses. That's 9 lenses. And of course, must-have is relative to what you do. People that only do sports action don't really give a damn about a landscape lens, right? But in the spectrum of what these lenses are, regardless of what you shoot, this is my list. It's like, man, these lenses are amazing. So there we have it. This is a viewer-requested video on must-have Fujifilm lenses from the perspective of the guy that owns them all, and tested a lot of lenses. Lots of lenses. I hope you liked this video because it was requested by you. If not you, then the other viewers. A lot of viewers requested this, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely 2020, and Fujifilm rocks. Talk about David and Goliath. We got, Goliath, Nikon and Canon, and Fujifilm is, the little David with the one stone and a sling. And Fujifilm is slinging a lot of stones and knocked over a lot of giants. Yep, that's what I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and happy 2020. I can't wait to get to Florida because this weather sucks, dead bunny rabbits. It sucks! After this video is over, I'm going to warm myself by this digital fire because it's extremely warming. Try not to burn myself. Roast some marshmallows on it. Usually get stuck to the computer screen. They don't roast that well, but thank you. Happy 2020.